Did you study any broadcasting in school?
Yeah, I
graduated. Any college?
Went to a broadcasting school. Yeah, graduated. Got out of there. Actually, graduated early. It was a formality. I'd already been in radio for, I think I graduated when I was 19 from the broadcasting school. But it had been I'd already been doing radio for 3-4 years already. So.
More or less formality.
Formality for my parents wanted me to have a piece of paper.
Sure.
And out of that is where I took my first radio job in Fort Dodge, Iowa, which is outside of Minneapolis. Was there for 3 years, then went back to Minneapolis, and got the job with WCW. So, as far as the broadcasting career goes, a lot of weird things happened in a row to get me to the wrestling gig. I had been a real big fish in a small pond, Fort Dodge, Iowa. I got nominated for a Marconi Award, which, if you know anything about radio, is kind of like the Oscar of...
It's a big award,
yeah,
sure.
So I was the youngest person to ever get nominated for this. And after I got the award nomination, I started getting a lot of calls from across the country. And ended up taking a job back in Minneapolis at a big radio station I listened to growing up. And I was there 4 weeks and got fired. I just, he said, you ain't right for this. And I was right. I mean, it wasn't. So I went from the top of the world, winning that award, to just nothing in 4 weeks. So it shows you that any...
You have to fail, though.
Sometimes you absolutely. Best thing that ever happened to me. Absolutely. It was the most depressing thing and the best thing at the same time. No question.
You get to WCW, then what was that like working there? And the experiences there, you hear good and bad, but you know what? Good and bad everywhere. What was experiences like for you?
Coming in at that age was amazing, and I thought, is this too good to be true? And then I got my paycheck, and I thought, this is definitely too good to be true. And then I got a contract. This is absolutely too good to be true. And then, as it turns out, it was kind of too good to be true. So the experience was amazing. I got 3 years working for a major company right in the thick of things. I don't think I really paid my dues in wrestling till TNA started. In a weird way, you talk about guys working their way up. I got pretty lucky real early, and I think the real hard work came once WCW went away, and it was like, all right, if I want to continue in professional wrestling, what do I do? So I ended up moving to Australia. Worked for a guy there that ran a company called the World Wrestling All-Stars. We did pay-per-views all over the world for.
Sure, brought a bunch of big names in. I remember that. Again,
another great lesson in failure. It was his money, his decisions, but I basically had to figure out what he wanted and do the best I could to make sure that the show and everything was in his vision, because he was funding everything, and right or wrong. And that was one of those things. Met Jeff Jarrett through that, and that was really, I think, the very genesis of this company was working for that Australian promoter with Jeff and realizing, this might be something we can do on our own.
We can do it on our own, but we can do it different.
Yeah.
Than what's going on here. I mean, really,
and
that's
it was really
the premise.
I mean, we've told the guy the promoter this, and he's still a good friend of mine, Andrew McManus, is that that was really, we got to do a little trial run with somebody else's money, which is
basically what it was.
Looking back at what it was, at the time it wasn't.
This was the pilot. Here's the pilot right here.
We didn't look at it that way at the time.
No.
We looked at it as this is our next thing after WCW. But a couple months into it, 6 months into it, it was like, okay, he's making some decisions that we probably wouldn't make, but his money. And since that time, that's the way it always is. You always can say, well, I might do something different, but at the end of the day, it's the person writing the check, putting their ass on the line for it, that you have to try and just make it in the best depiction of what they want.
Yeah,
of course.
Sure, anybody.
When you start your own promotion and writing the checks, then you can call your own shots. Until that time, you're just you're a bit player in finding out that and achieving that person's idea, and that's cool.
That's all.